G'day and welcome to CCMC TV, and welcome to 50 years of custom coaches, proudly supporting the needs of the Australian bus industry. The custom coaches tradition of building quality buses and coaches started in 1955, a good year. The year New South Wales pub opening hours were extended from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. The year Barry Humphrey's character Edna Everidge made her stage debut. And the year CCMC won the tender to supply 125 bus bodies to the New South Wales Department of Government Transport. With the withdrawal of trams in the streets of Sydney, there was a pressing need for buses to fill this void. The custom coaches bodied Leyland Royal Tiger Worldmaster was the government's preference. The body design of these single-deckers closely resembled the style of American buses at the time. Various Hollywood movies and TV series depict similar style vehicles. These bodies were known as standees and allowed standing passengers to look out through the small fixed windows above the windows for seated passengers. This order marked the start of a great tradition, providing quality buses and coaches to the Australian market. A tradition built on long-term relationships with the New South Wales Government, still a customer today. In fact, the first private bus was delivered to Dick Rowe in 1958, who, we can proudly say, has been buying custom coaches ever since. Before this successful tender, the business focused on manufacturing tubular frames for the cycle componentry. The name CCMC actually stood for Cycle Components Manufacturing Company. Originally set up to manufacture bicycle parts such as handlebars, the business diversified into tubular seat frames for schools, churches and buses. The tides were turning towards the company we all know today. Mark Burgess, Custom Coaches CEO and family descendant of those at the very start, shed some light on those early days.
Custom Coaches was started by Stanley Hillsden, was the founder, about 75 years ago. In fact, we're celebrating 50 years of bus production. It's been 50 years since we took our first order as a bus producer. The family connection is that the founder was my wife's grandfather, and Jack Violet is my wife's uncle. Barry Reardon, that ran the company for many years as general manager, is also a very close family member for my wife's family. In fact, my father-in-law, who's deceased, and Barry Reardon were the best of friends from young men to when my father-in-law passed away. So there's a strong history there, and in fact I can recall many stories from my wife when she was young, on a Saturday morning doing work in the factory for her grandfather, sweeping and doing some odd jobs to earn a bit of pocket money. So it's a long history. I grew up in the area, the area where the Marion Street factory was, and it also featured heavily in my youth, that everyone knew of the factory and knew what it did. And I personally have known, been associated with the Violet family through my wife since we were very young. We went to preschool and high school together, so we've known each other, and I've known the Violet family and so forth for 40 years, I suppose.